Okay, so now we know a little bit more about this dynamic customer journey and how Twitter can fit in as part of that mix. Let's first start understanding what Twitter ads are and how the various different Twitter products vary based on what our objectives are, what we're looking to achieve, and of course ultimately our budget. So Twitter have three core products, shall we say. There's the promoted account, the promoted trend, and of course the promoted tweet. Now the majority of this course will focus on the promoted tweet and Twitter cards, for example, mainly because these are delivered via the self-serve platform where you can just go in, set these up remotely and do it yourself. With the promoted accounts and promoted trends, a greater level of conversation has to take place with Twitter directly. So first of all, let's take a look at promoted accounts. Well, how do promoted accounts work? Well, simply you start by writing a short description that explains why someone should follow your account. For example, you can call out the great content that you're tweeting out on a regular basis. Make sure you also include your business logo and a strong call to action if you're going to use the promoted accounts option. Once you've created your promoted account, you can reach the people who are most likely to be interested in your business and therefore more likely to want to follow your account. For example, you can connect with users who are interested in broad categories related to your business, or maybe even users who are similar to the followers of influencers in your industry perhaps. You can also target people based on their location or gender. After you have defined these audiences, it's then up to you to consider how you can tailor the messaging in your campaigns so that it's relevant for each group. When you launch your followers campaign, your promoted account will appear to the users who you've targeted in the following places. So they will appear in the home timeline. They will also appear in the Who to Follow widget on the right hand side of the home and notifications tabs. It will also appear in the Who to Follow widget on the right side of the People search results page. And it will also appear in the Who to Follow widget on the right side of the profile page. Now, the promoted account option is great for brands with bigger budgets who are looking to massively grow the amount of Twitter followers they have on their accounts. Now, that's the primary objective with promoted accounts, is to increase the following you have on Twitter. You can, of course, do this with promoted trends and promoted tweets, but it is the primary function of the promoted accounts is to increase the number of Twitter followers you have. Next up, we have promoted trends. And promoted trends work for much larger brands and businesses. The cost is in the region of $200,000 per day to run your trend as a promoted trend. And some of the impact or some of the benefits that you can receive from promoted trends is the fact that they can boost brand conversation. So, for example, promoted trends help advertisers kickstart conversations about their brands. In the 14 days following promoted trend exposure, Twitter users produced 22% more conversations about an advertiser compared to the 2 weeks before the exposure. Now that's from Twitter's own internal research in 2013. Promoted trends can also drive the most impact at the top of the funnel. So like we were talking about before in previous lectures around the zero moment of truth and the stimulus stage, this is where promoted trends can work really well. So you could kick off campaigns with a promoted trend to maximize awareness and maybe even purchase consideration. And again, a 2013 study that Twitter themselves conducted found that consumers skewed 151% more likely to tweet about considering a product after promoted trend exposure. Conversations about intent and purchase also jumped 19% and 33% respectively. Promoted trends also have a longer term impact than many people initially realise. So again, a Twitter study from 2013 found that promoted trends had lasting impact on consumer conversations about brands. With 73% lift in brand mentions, promoted trends had their greatest impact the day they ran, but even 3 weeks after a promoted trend campaign, advertisers reap benefits: a 20% lift in brand mentions, 22% lift in positive mentions, and 10% lift in retweets. So you can leverage these insights to use promoted trends more strategically, not only as supplements to your 24-hour moments like product launches, but also as air cover to prop up other campaigns with flight dates that span 3 weeks or longer perhaps.